This is ORD, Ord River Resources. As you can see, it's been trudging along the bottom for a while here. I actually charted this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've lost the chart, but anyway, we can do it again. I'll start off by marking the high and low of our highest volume bar, ultra high volume bars, and I might do the second highest as well, just to and the high. Okay, so you see we've had an extended period of price just doing not a great deal. All of a sudden we get an ultra high volume bar here, and that alerts us immediately to the professional activity, increase in the professional activity in the market, and then we can see price has gone up and very widespread. I mean, it's gone from 5.8 to 10.5 cents. What's that? 80% or whatever gone up. And but when we see ultra high volume and professional activity, we're automatically wary of what they're doing, because smart money, as we like to call them, typically sell on up bars and buy on down bars. So so we're not automatically wanting to buy these bars. We want to see what happens next, because they'll tell us what the professional operators are up to. And then we thought we had an ultra high volume bar there, but the next day we get an ultra high volume bar, and it goes right up to the 12 cents or 12.5 cents. And you know, everyone's jumping on. This is a buying climax. It's a buying frenzy. And the outcome of all this activity, so the herd are active, you've got breakout traders active, because I think you've got an old level back here that looks like it's breaking out of. So you've got breakout traders jumping in there as well, but the price collapses and closes on the low of the bar and below our first bar. So immediately it does that, we know the smart money are not buying, they're actually distributing into all this demand and distributing into this buying frenzy. If smart money were buying, if the professional operators in the market were buying, then the price couldn't do that. It couldn't close low. So we know that they were actually selling. There's hidden selling in this up bar, and it's just collapsed after that. But it has, you know, it has gone sort of into a new, and it's higher than it has been. It's gone into a new little range there, so that's good. I see it started trending back up into these bars here, but they've done it again. Look, we've got your ultra high volume kicks in. Okay, so we know they're up to something, and what we need to see is the next bar to confirm, because it could be that they're trying to absorb the supply to the left here and take price higher. So we don't know till we see what happens next. The next bar closes down. It's actually quite cruel in that it goes higher, so you've got a lot of buyers jumping in here, and then closes lower than the close here, so locking in. You've got a whole heap of buyers there locked into bad trades now, and then it's just started going down from there. So so that's distribution there, that's distribution there. Smart money's selling into demand from the herd. So it's come back down. The last Friday's bar that's like an up thrust, which isn't good. It's increased volume, but the price hasn't gone anywhere really. So we have sort of seen a little bit of support on the top of this ultra high volume bar over here. So maybe that will hold. We do have you do have a little uptrending channel there, maybe. So I mean, that's still there, but I think this is weakness, that's weakness, this is weakness, and I don't see a lot of buying coming into the bottom. So the last thing smart money were doing were selling into demand. So I would still expect, it's fairly recent, so I would still expect probably lower prices. I might go to the pitchforks and we'll just see if we can, I'll go to the weekly and see what we can do there. That's even more obvious on the weekly, and you got see where it's closed right off the high. If the professional end of the market were buying, it couldn't really do that. It couldn't, so they're capping the price there, but it has gone up. But I mean, it looks like a rinse and repeat there. They haven't finished distributing, so they've supported the price and then so they can get their sell orders finished. That's what it looks like anyway. But anyway, I'll put a pitchfork on it, and I might go from this low here, this high here, and I'll pick, I've got a choice of 3 there. I'd like to pick the lowest low, but they've got 3 equals there, so I'd like to pick the latest one. So that's that one. That doesn't tell me a lot. Well, might put a warning line on there. One, right. I'll put another one on there then, the second warning line. And they're just parallels to the median. And I'll, whoop, yep, that's captured the price. So it's gone all the way up, busted through to the second warning line of this pitchfork, and actually come back down to the median line before going back up, and it's actually supported on the upper tine here. So I think what I think will happen is it'll come down and retest the this median line here, and maybe go up from there. And it is still sort of stepping higher, but I think it's got to come back down and back into this bar here, maybe on the close of our weekly there at the 8.3. We'll see. We have got the bottom of our next high volume bar, so it could find support there as well. But I think it'll come back to the median line and before deciding what it wants to do. This is SDL, Sundance Resources, and I've got an old chart here I'm trying to read. I think the last time I charted this was right here, so just after it broke this trigger line of this pitchfork. And I think what I was saying was their pitchfork rule: if price fails to reach a median, it will often reverse back past the previous pivot. And I was looking at this and seeing that it had failed to complete. It got an uptrending median line, but then prices failed to reach back up to it, and that often means there's a rule called Hagopian's rule, and basically says if price pivots before it logically should, it will often reverse back either to the upside or the downside, reverse back past the previous pivot. And that was that pivot point there, and that actually played out. And it's actually gone on that support line I've drawn, but I can't for the life of me work out how I got that trend line. And I'll get rid of those. Okay, so it has supported there. I think what I've done is I've taken the tops, these tops here, it looks like I've taken these tops and then just moved the parallel lines onto the anchors of the pitchfork, and that's how I've got that trend line there. So that's actually did support there a couple of times, it looks like, so that's good anyway. But anyway, we've got, this is our real weak bar here. It's really ultra high volume bar and very narrow spread, and they're generally always bad, and it's collapsed after that. So I think at the time all the volume guys were giving the warning signs, giving the warnings that this was pretty bad and to expect lower prices, and that's what happened. That's a big exit there. So it's tried to get above there, but it's just collapsed after that. So that's That's very bad. But anyway, if we get rid of that bar because it's distorting everything, and when we're looking at volume, we're looking at relative volume. We're looking at volume compared to what's happened in the last 3 bars, and when we get these big spikes here, it distorts. You can't really see what's going on because we tend to discount any strong or weak bars and just class them all as weak because we get one big spike there. So I'll get rid of that bar. Oh, no, it's not going to work. I'll have to do it again. And I'm going to, there we go. So I'll just get coming after the drop there. Oh, look, it looks pretty bad, doesn't it? Had that big drop. We had this big up thrust here, this volume bar here, but it's up thrust around where that really bad bar was, and it's just collapsed after that. And then we see price, volume increasing, and we're getting some congestion there, so it's still weak, but we did have evidence of a bit of buying. Then we had this bullish bar here. It's gone down and up, so that was bullish. But the next bar, on pretty good volume, the next bar actually was a weak bar catching supply from these old tops, and it's come back down, but it's made a lower high. And we get an ultra high up bar, and we automatically are wary that it's a lot of selling in there because smart money selling up bars, but they could have been absorbing all this weakness to the left here as well. But as we can see, prices collapsed after that. You had the next bar went down, and it looked like a test, and it's jumped back up, but it's caught supply, and then it's sort of collapsed after that. Then we've had 2 bars down on high volume, so that's down on high volume. Sometimes smart money buy on these high volume down bars, so we'll just see if we get a bit of a kick up, because often these widespread bars reverse back, but it doesn't look too good at the moment. What I've done there is I've actually drawn a little trend line from that pivot to that pivot there, just to see if we saw really low volume coming down onto this trend line, then that would indicate that they'd be good places to go long. But looks like it's actually exerted effort to break through there, so that's a little bit of a concern, I suppose. It's also broken through the low of our volume bar here, so you've had 2 lines of support there that it's broken through on volume, so it's like an effort to the downside, so that's probably not the best sign. You've still got this bullish bar here at the bottom here, so if it can pull back up from there, that's what you'd want to see. Otherwise, yeah, you got a lot of weakness behind you, and the strength really doesn't quite compare at the moment, even though it's hard to judge by trying to compare volume to that there. But I don't like what happened on Friday particularly, and so you might get a kick up in response, but I think it's see, the day before and the days before, you had an up bar. This bar here tried to go up on less volume on low demand, and it can't do that. So you've actually got a sequence here. You've got a high volume up bar. Smart money like to sell on up bars. You then got a bar with supply coming in. You've got an up thrust there, and you've got a bar trying to go up on no demand there. So it's the most bullish bar out of the lot was probably this really low one here coming here. That's like a little test there, but it price didn't close higher, so it was never confirmed. and then we get a little no demand bar there, and it's trying to go up on no demand, and then it's collapsed after that. So anyway, let's hope it can find some support. You've got the 33 cents, which is at the bottom here. You've got this lower trend channel here. Not a lot more I can say about that. It's got a lot of weakness behind it. And I could connect these tops here. So maybe you got a little trend, but it's broken that as well. So it's looking weak at the moment.